on 95.1 Nigeria Info.
All right. I bet you had your hand on your chest singing that song a lot. But the only song that gets me in that zone to me is Great Nation.
Yeah.
Nigeria Survive is an amazing song. It just sounds like singing from a place of pain and anger. Like,
There's hope.
there is hope. Nigeria will survive. But Great Nation sounds like standing on a mountain top, a flag raised, and saying, we are a great nation.
The about how Nigerians take every song about the country very seriously. We go on to we sing with so much passion and that we're a part of it. But the question is, do we leave the role or do we just see it? And the next minute we're back to our character, because we blame the government for everything, but we need to play roles in terms of ensuring that Nigeria is a better version of how we met it and how we see it. We can't always leave the heavy lifting to just the government, because we are a reflection of the government.
Yeah.
So we all need to do better. It's really important we make that conscious effort. That, as much as we say, government is not living up to its responsibility, but how are you also ensuring that you're the part of the properly important? So I just hope that...
I think that's where patriotism comes from. That place of recognizing that, it's not just... people confuse loyalty to government for patriotism. That loyal to one government and you support the government does not mean that you're patriotic. It means that either your values aligns with, or you have some benefit, or, all the R's.
Yeah.
Patriot about is beyond who is in government, political party, to believing the very best for your country and applying your best, like you pointed out, to saying you in your own space, what are you doing to better Nigeria from your corner and spreading it out, to know that nobody's watching you and judging you, that you're actually doing the right thing by God and country.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, that's basically...
there's a trending phrase. It's been trending since the start of this administration. It says, this XYZ will favor. So you're just filling the gap.
Subsidy will favor me.
You're filling the gap.
Subsidy removal will favor me. This Supreme Court verdict will favor me and my... Where did we get that silliness
It's
from?
how we joke about everything. And maybe the way we are able to withstand whatever pressures we're going through. We just joke about it. A bit to go through it easy. If you think about it, it would weigh you down, affect your mental health, and just make you feel some type of way.
So
it's a coping
therapy.
mechanism. You're coping with whatever is happening.
Okay.
It's interesting how we are as a people.
One actually said they actually prayed it in one track. Like, it will favor me. I said, okay, I can understand the spiritual dimension, what you're saying. But it became popular, like you pointed out on social media, that it became ridiculous, because I saw someone move the subsidy remover. I said, this has been removed to favor me and my family. And all of that. I said, okay, if it's a coping mechanism, I see. As long as we're jumping off the lagoon, it's okay.
We all need therapy.
Yeah, don't we all?
We all need therapy. It's why we talk about everything. It's why we are quick to jump into conversation. That's our way of airing our grievance and not doing something chaotic in the process. So we just find ways to cope. It's interesting, but I hope in good time, that hope that we are looking towards would be our portion eventually in our lifetime.
So with this government national salary favor me and my family?
Well, it's... when you say
national salary increase will favor me.
When you say
NLC proposed strike, if it be or be not, will favor me and my family. Everything is favorable to us. Meanwhile,
absolutely.
Remi Tinubu is saying her husband is not a magician. For 1 second, we did not think
He was
a magician.
But when he came in, he gave us the whole Akon vibe. You can blame on me, Do not give me a mercy. Just Nigerians for dragging him early.
I might see that thing. What song comes to my mind? Like, I be Terminator. Like that.
Listen.
So talk about your husband is not a magician. Madam, please.
It will favor us.
Yeah, it will favor us.
End.
Whether a magician or not, it will favor me and my family. Since you brought this up. Anyway, welcome to Hard Facts here on 95.1 Nigeria for your passionate conversation and trustworthy radio. And I said to ensure that you have a fantastic time, educative, entertaining, informative conversation on this independent edition of the program. Yes, it's the first. However, if you've been about town, you see a lot of campaign movements, people celebrating in one or the other and stuff like that. So it tells you that they're celebrating it today a bit low-key because the government is not inviting anyone. We're not popping anything. There's
but I saw cake yesterday.
No, that's the thing. Like you told us it was going to be low-key, inviting people from home or abroad. We hear things happening and it's not right.
Could have been cupcakes to try that. Yeah, but I saw a proper cake. It looked really good.
But sometimes you're not celebrating your birthday, like no trauma and everything, but you have a cake and like a happy birthday, love.
If I'm not celebrating, there's no cake.
Really?
Yes, that's not. You have cake. That's celebration already.
Cake is it.
Yes.
Nothing more.
Nothing more.
You're a very simple man. You keep things big. Right, so they're having a secret party with us. And you told us, invited. This feels rough, man. You think you're the popular kid in school.
We'll be fine. Yeah, you don't get the invitation to the party.
I know. So in addition, we understand, but we hope that we do some work and we to see tangible results in aid. Our guest will be joining us any minute now. He said something I don't want to even relay on air.
Do not.
It's an indictment on my person. But we're having Kolawole Johnson. You should understand that his form of defense is attack. He'll be here any minute now for the roundtable. Look at some of the big stories driving conversation. My name is Kimberly. Call me Kim, the Digital Oracle, OTF, the fellow, and Speaker Ochanya 1 of Nigeria.
My name is Itodo. You can call me the Deacon, and it's always great to be here. Monday, no pressure whatsoever. I'm happy that it's an extension of the weekend as well. We resume tomorrow. You're not overthinking it. Just about hours left. The Agabi the one. Great to conversations that are really important. We are streaming live on YouTube and Facebook right now at Nigeria Info, just so you can join the conversation and drop your thoughts to all the headlines that we'll be touching today on the.
Yes, and I am patriotically dressed and wrapped in the flag.
Oh, I missed the memo.
Yeah. And I'm glad that he guessed complimenting my green with his white, even though I have white shoe on. I'm like, Kim, this green and white. I say yes. We are. What's that song again? Nation. We fend. It's not even national anthem. It's the Vidakolo song they're using. So that's the essence of something green. And our guest just waltzed itself in a knight in shining armor. Kolawole Johnson, BN, CBN. Communication strategy is here for the Independence edition of All Dressed in White. Happy Independence Day to you.
To you.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Good to see you again.
Good to see you. Yeah.
Honestly, it appears the economy is very good to your bet.
It is. It is. For me and my family.
Not only you.
Over the line on the street, he said, I strike, whether it be or be not, it will favor me. This provisional salary increase will be this subsidy remover.
You know where I was then? We were discussing Nasarawa. I was almost giving a headbutt. So I said it is not very likely for APC to scale through. He said, no, just go and support. Come on here.
Well, you're based on that Nasarawa anyway. You have that.
That's a tough one.
Yeah, is it?
Tough one for APC. Those guys went to that place with they did the needful. They went with the figures. This is wrong. And the same thing I said earlier. For other cases, you must go to the tribunal with your evidence.
Yeah.
Not just that. State the figures. If you say, okay, I won, what were you supposed to get that they didn't declare for you? You and you go there with the required evidence, with the requisite evidence.
Yeah.
From the polling units, not what you have elsewhere, according to law. And those guys, they did that. I doubt it would be a miracle if APC survives that.
Yeah, that's right. We get a bit of the update.
Yes, the Government Election Petition Tribunal has nullified the election.
It's out.
Yes, of Governor Abdullahi.
I'll get you this one before come through again.
Congratulations to you.
No,
the man that sees tomorrow.
I know mine now. See, somebody met at an event and a guy called me there. Not that.
Oh.
See, data don't lie. If you don't analyze with emotions, with sentiment, you will likely come through. Come a lot of times, except for chances and many other factors. But for this one, it was clear.
No, but the fact that we've been seeing a lot of electoral proceedings lately, we had an issue with Kaduna State just last, and eventually a different report. But with this one stating that they've gone on to declare Sule, they've Knight Sule of Nasarawa State declared Peace David as the winner. Delivering judgment virtually, Chairman of the Tribunal Justice Ezekiel Ajayi declared Emmanuel Bugadu of the PP as the lawfully elected governor of Nasarawa State. But there was an option to appeal the judgment.
They will say the court of first instance in election tribunal, is one that you need to pay a lot of attention to.
Okay.
Like as we have done this before, we have followed this process through, and I feel that you need to do a whole lot there, because there are things you can bring to the appeal court if they are not in your original. So I think it's just for them to do what they need and maybe argue some more. It was just the simple political arrangement. What you got here, you were not supposed to get it.
Yeah.
What I got here, I got more than this. This is the evidence. What he got here, he was not supposed to get it. This is the evidence. Very simple. That was what took there. Except there's a way guys can now argue through that. No, that what we got here is true, that they deducted this from us. As long as they are not able to do that with requisite evidence from the unit, don't forget, not from IRF, from the pooling unit. If they're able to do that, fine. But if they are not able to do that, this qualification stands. Yeah.
Our eyes were on Kano, Kaduna, and North State, and I think there are two other states where they've coming. Or one of them feel like,
If you check the state where you've had qualification, the trend is the same.
The same, yeah.
You have the deductions of figures. You have the party pleading that this is what called in the actual sense. You have said the opposite of the other that was declared did not get what they said they got. And this is the final result. Now, this thing we said, it is just normal. If you don't do that, the court cannot back to figures for you. Those ones pleaded, and they call that they were right. However, these things are not cast in stone. You may have some nullified. Because you can also deduct by uru. It is possible. Some things may be a bit sound, somehow, but look at this. You say, or if I go ahead to check your ballot boxes, the ones that use your own election stuff, and I discover some papers that were stamped. If you fail to check mine, to also discover that some are signed, well, I don't know what could happen. Yeah, maybe. Let me know, come up with judge. Okay. Maybe those ones will also go ahead now, or they have checked and they are waiting to submit their result. You can't tell, But the trend is always the same. If you win election petition used from the polling unit, because results were declared there, and forms were given. Forms given for those results to be filled. As long as you're able to collect that, you come to the final conclusion, whether you win or not. But congratulations to the opposition in Nasarawa State. And with these, I think it is getting more difficult to rig election. Take it. Well, we know that the IRF that introduced to make the process very transparent, failed us last election. Like I continually say, the major thing that cast aspersion in the last election
is that it wasn't uploaded.
Yes, IRF
nothing.
Because it wasn't uploaded when due. If that had done, there won't be a lot of agitation you see in the public space. But unfortunately, that did not say that you will collect the IRF. It was meant to, give credence to the election, increase the confidence of the people, trust of the people in the process, and we threw away. But going forward, I hope we'll be able to get just like we fought for the electoral reform this time, we should pick it up now and they'll be able to do a lot of things digitally, not relying on the old Form AC8, even though you know that people are also waiting. The moment to, bring some ingenuity into the process. You have some people who are some corners to also circumvent the process too. We hope that the INEC portal will be strong enough to withstand hacking on the day of the election. If you can sit somewhere and be posting any out of your choice, whether...
But we have issues with the hacking for the governor election, for the House of Assembly election, did we? It was primarily...
Not just the governorship. On the day of the election, or presidential election, people were uploading the National Assembly elections. Don't forget.
To the IRF?
On social media, where exactly?
To the IRF.
Okay.
People who were authorized to upload.
Yes, to upload. They were, doing that. Even in some places, the presidential election results were uploaded. But in quite a number of places, they were not able. There were instances.
That's where it became contentious. The fact that once that we could get a decent amount of, say, the Senate and also Rep and the governorship when it happened later on, go up. Just this one presidential election, there's one that a lot of people are focused on was where it came from. Yes, they talked about allegations of hacking, but you've not been to sell it substantially enough to Nigeria to believe.
Okay, it won't be. You know why they can say that? Prior to the elections, we were somewhere with, okay, please, I don't want to mention the name of the hotel. And it was a train by some, foreign donors. Yeah. I think you must have been aware of that too. Yaga all of us,
Oh, okay.
And remember Samson Itodo Yaga brought this. I think I made a very terrible mistake of mentioning his name. Someone brought up, he brought up some issues about what is like on election day. And someone mentioned in specifics another person and said, what if, because we're real time of for us to continue, we're not able to get this. None out of what happened in Osun State. A time was like a blackout. Although very short. It wasn't prolonged. Results were coming. But at some point, they had to. What it happened on a larger scale, what do we do? And some of those expressed concerns about the security of that portal. And unfortunately, I doubt it was to the election, just like a week before elections. I doubt he did anything to attend to those issues that was. But it has become shared in the history of this country. Whoever has come out of that, the next election, people will be much more aware. There are things that you got away with in life, you can't get away with them again.
We'll keep our fingers crossed and hope for the best.
Can you see the level of awareness in the public? It has never like this before. And those are very angry now. We will be waiting. I said in my unit, we waited till around 2:30 a.m. to ensure that result was uploaded. We were following the guy around in my estate until it was uploaded. Let the guy go. So I'm very sure that people are much more aware now. Follow through.
All right, then. Let's go on a very quick break. When we return, we'll look at more of the big stories. Will the NLC stay embark on their strike? Well, time will tell.
This is Nigeria Info.
Hello, my name is Kimberly. I'm the host of Facts, and I bring you the biggest stories driving conversation every weekday here on 95.1 Nigeria Info Hard Factor. I love to get your opinion and conjectures, but the facts you cannot dispute here on Hard Facts. Join me and let's talk.
This is Nigeria Info.
Nigeria Info.
This is Nigeria Info.
Speech on Independence Day, where he said it will be a provisional increase for 6 months, 25,000, which the chief of staff said was 20,000. However, we're getting a statement from the Minister of Information saying, see, it is 35,000 naira, and it is not for
not just low
grade workers. It is for all workers, apparently. Who will get this 35,000. He also said they pledge commitment to fast track the provision of compressed natural gas. Is to ease public transportation difficulties associated with removal of PMS, and the government is also committed to provision of funds for micro and small enterprise, as well as waiver on tax diesel for the next 6 months. Further, the federal government announced that it will commence payment of 75,000 to 50 million households at 25,000 per month for a 3-month period from October to December. Kolawole, we want to get your thoughts. And is this even enough? First of all, a lot of things to unpack from the statement. It's now 35,000, not just low-grade workers, for all workers. I want to believe the federal government establishment can states afford sort of 6-month wait of paying 35,000 naira extra. That's a big question that they would have to deliberate over. Because they're meeting with their people to meet back with the government and give us the update as to whether and if the protest will go on, the strike will go on or not. Let's start with that, then we'll move into the part.
Historically, if attempt an historical perspective, it has always been about the government workforce, mostly alone. In 1945, when we had a very full agitation, they were asking for cost of living excess or something like that. Then, that time there was no structured force in place. It was just workers asking for what they think they are due for because of economic situation. We had like a pay increase in 1974 after 1975 to the oil boom. Again, there was no law structure in place. NLC came to be in 1968. That was the very first time we had, formally.
Organized.
Then then the Democrat came to office in 1979. And after a year, down to a year and a half, they increased the salaries of political leaders. And that angered the labor force, and they demanded for pay rise. At the end, they were to get pay rise. I think from 60 naira or so to 125 naira. I can't remember very clearly. 1980, 81. Then 1990, Comrade Azanov, I think that was the chairman of NLC then. The same Comrade Shomale was the vice. And he led the trade negotiation. And they got pay increase. I think from 125 to maybe 300 or 250 or something in that neighborhood.
Yeah.
But that still did not answer the question of would that be applicable to every other person working? I think it was along the line. It now became integrated. Because these things were not signed into law, not until during Jonathan. Of course, we had a jump from around 300 or 600 to 3,000 during Abdul Salam. Then as soon as OBJ came in, 2 years after, or a year after, we started
review every 5 years.
And that didn't see the light of the day. The 25% proposed by the Shonekon Committee come to be. But it became like a national issue when Jonathan ensured that was signing into law by National Assembly. From that time, so it now became state. You can't go outside this. You have it. Whatever they negotiate now, state will have to pay. They're not necessarily, of course, state will say,
they would have to, but they can they?
Yeah,
we've been in this country long enough to not.
Come in there.
Always can.
I want this to paint the picture of why we had increase each time. This time around, what is responsible for the increase or for the wage increase agitation? It was because economic situation in specific. Whether you are a federal worker, a state worker, or a private sector worker, we are all in the same economy. And so, it may be wise to see through the lens that the federal won't have into it. So what you negotiate will also be up to the state. Now, will they be able to pay? Let's answer the question to the best of our knowledge. What we took away of fuel subsidy that is responsible for the present economic situation. The proceeds not only coming to the federal government, it also goes to the state. I heard the president said monies have been released to the state for two things. One, the infrastructural they said they should create. Then also for
Palliative.
Subsidy. I'm not saying we should call our monies and give to workers. But again, a part of that should be separate to all our workforce. But you again ask, what percentage of the workers?
I was just going to go. I was just going to percentage of the workforce, because this does not even include the practical in this kind of strong agitation. What's the percentage of the workforse?
I was coming from the office and one of my staff teased me and said, I say, looking at this, But back to the government side. So what exactly is the percentage of the government workforce in the population that will now decide to give or the larger percentage of our resources to them? And that question has been answered over time. The work of the state, much of that you need to ensure that the economy of this runs. We're able to put data into that to ensure that, okay, without the workforce, the entire economic structure of the country can run up to so percentage. We can then answer that
720,000 public servants working at the federal level.
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll look at cumulative, what states are employing.
Yeah. State, it was very large also. But compared to the population, that is just
700, not even up to a million. We're dealing with 200 million people.
Not up to. But don't forget that I was about answering that question. The first is to consider what effect do they have in the economy. The second is to consider the dependent on the workers. So if you have 700,000 persons working in the federal government, I'm sure you know that you have at least 4 or 5 dependents on each of them. So that's the number from that 700 to at least 3.5 million, 4 million. And these guys also, when they earn, they go to the market. And so again, economy activity they generate. You have some states in Nigeria that are basically government workforce state. Once salaries are not released, the state is in coma. So that tells you that the question of whether they are large or not, of course, we should answer it in brief. Not just about their number, what they do to the economy. Why is it that when there are delays in salaries in those states, that chances that economic activities go down?
Grounded,
Because they drive the economy beyond what you're saying. They buy cloth, they buy from the market women, transportation, everything. So I think we should start seeing them that number, that whether they're less than 1% or thereabout. We should start seeing them beyond that and look at the effect of taking care of the workers.
But we're still looking at a tiny demographic, because we know that the private sector is also a key employer of labor.
Yes.
Now, does these hover? Is it? I know you painted the trajectory of why this is happening, but half the time, even in the private sector, you don't organize union group in some sense.
Okay. What even brought about unionism agitation? It wasn't a revolution. It was when we started having industries. The epoch of human history, we moved from the survivors to the slavery. It was when there was, of course, when that dissolved, that you had feudalism.
Yeah.
Then from to capitalism. So it is because of the economic situation, because of the system that has given birth to this. And the private sector are supposed to be the driver of that system and enforcing it. Not even the government alone. Because workers, not just good workers, private sector workers, workers, when they have unions in their respective places, they have the agitation. How would you recommend, or how do you think we'll be able to score a nationwide private sector workers that will take for a level playing field, when in the actual sense we don't have a level playing field business world? Some are fought. Now, there is nothing I do so differently from my colleagues who can barely pay office rent. That's grace at times. And some also up. They can do much more that we cannot do. You can't expect us to pay the same. It is what you generate that you pay from. But the government gives allocations to state. So that resources belong to all. So they can pay. You can force them to pay. But in the sector, it's a different ballgame entirely. I understand the fact that the the industrialist is after his profit, is after creating surplus value. That is the only thing in his head. But again, the workforce also would know when they should agitate or when they should not, because you know what is coming in. You know what you contributed. It cannot be generic. You can make it, there cannot be a generalization of, oh, this should be the business. How about one who is just starting a business?
Well, I know the law would look at a number of employees to say it qualifies you to start to think.
I think it's about, I think, is it four?
It's more than, is it 10 or so, or thereabout? Yeah.
Okay. Now, how do you have, maybe because it would be personal, let me not discuss that, because...
oh, so it's personal to you, it's not discussable.
I'm an employer of labor, okay? And I understand that, see, I'm not even in charge of the act. Okay, let me give you an example. Year 2019, we ran 9 good months. We didn't get one as payment in the company, and body was paid. I was ensuring that they were paid because I didn't want my workers to go without pay.
19 or 20 COVID year, because COVID.
2019, not 2020. Yeah. For 9 good months, our first payment came in October, and all through those years, they were not able to return all the expenses of January to September. 2020, COVID, we were lucky. The first 3 months of the God smiled on us. So we're able to get back some of those expenses. But it would immediately, see, once, when COVID in of course, I left this to go attend to, I thought I was fighting for my country. And they didn't remember to even continue with the past. Of course, we even struggled to get through. All those instances to date, nobody remembers them again. For the first part of this year, same thing happened, some few months. But we needed to move on and survive as a company. So then will you now tell me that when you now make money, that you will share everything on the table because there is a wage increase? You survive tomorrow if we share all on the table. No, now.
No, but seeing that the removal of subsidy affects everybody, private, public, everyone is having a difficult time with it. And now that your workers are going to get a bit of palliative in terms of an increase in their take-home pay for every other month. States that depend on federal workers, for businesses rather, that have states that have businesses that depend on federal workers.
Workers, not federal as
well, on workers, and we see that federal workers ones are going to get this increase, right? If
states will get increase.
States will get exactly. Wouldn't this affect the price of goods, wherein they notice or realize that there's an increase in the salary of people, and those who are private workers who do not have an increase would be affected because they feel like the state workers can pay.
Isn't that why the president said it was going to be provisional, so as not to trigger inflation?
Exactly. Now there's always, whether I mention that or not, people are waiting for that. Inflation will always happen. But maybe I think we've quite, significant. I think we have had our share of inflation lately. That this may not spike it. This may not necessarily spike it. The inflation already happened. They are only bringing the workers, to kind of be able to put the inflation. Of course, what the market is detecting is not you can't, if they also go this direction increase, you may not be able to regulate, but it to be anything too too different from what you have now. However, I was trying to answer that question of private company. A lot of companies in Nigeria, even the so-called big ones, depend on the government for petroleum. A lot of companies. Some of us are not so fortunate to have that, but quite a number of companies depend on the government for them to survive. In Nigeria, you have a lot of fake businessmen. Without them, they cannot survive. Even the so-called big ones, they enjoy tax waivers, the incentives, they enjoy different stuff that if you take it away from them, they can hardly survive. However, if you want to those ones, now, with those who are not enjoying that government patronage, what will happen is very simple. Those who are not enjoying government patronage, but who are so grounded, they will always survive because they cut their cloth according to cloth. It is what you bring in that you spend. What you don't bring in, you don't spend. And most times, if you have a structured business, the head of the head is not even the one keeping the act. You have your structure, so you only get paid, paid what you earn, what is even due to you.
Okay.
The same way you are paid, others are paid. But there are to depend on government that a lot of they move money through different methods because they need to kickbacks. And with that, I mean, they can to give their staff what they can, what is coming, they can share. But I think it will affect everybody. Is not just in the market. It's not just it is the fact that there will be lesser things coming out of the government now in terms of free jobs. You won't get much of that right now. I think so. You won't. And if the government is going to even increase the salary for real, I would be suggesting to look at our staff structure, the government, the working structure, the workers, the personnel structure. Was it not in 2007 or 8 or so, or 17, 18, that Nigeria saved about 285 billion naira in 2 years when we introduced the IPPS? IPPIS, yes. In 2015, Okonjo-Iweala saved about 1.1 billion of, I can't remember, $1 billion when he decided to, do the payroll.
All right.
To remove workers and quite a number. So if we're able to do this, whatever increase we have, I think the government will be able to pay.
People always bring to you, even till now, the over-bloated nature of the service, given the fact that you can have people can comfortably not show up in work 2 weeks, and it makes absolutely sense. It tells you something that they have more than enough hands to get the job done. If someone can wait for 2 weeks and not show up, and it is not hybrid work.
I mentioned so long ago. I don't know if it's on your show. If it's, I think if it is yours, but I said one of the major issues you have in the country, it's our workforce. When you want to reform the system, they fight you. 2007, when Musa Yar'Adua came to office, he wanted to, the workers had to hold him ransom in the first few days of the argument because OBJ sold the refineries, 2 of them, and the workers said that they cannot sell them, that they must be. They've always been against the, circulation of the downstream sector. And Musa Yar'Adua was forced to return the money for those refineries to Dangote Uber. He returned the money to them, and they returned that the refinery back to government. What we have spent on those refineries that has refused to work till is more than what Dangote has spent. What he used to build that is refineries.
But how much was he willing to get refinery for at that point? Isn't he spending way more than what he was ready to trade to the Nigerian refinery?
No,
even
what
though people will say he was going
Kim,
to get it in a form that involved a lot of work. But it will still have changed.
Okay, you've been shown now. I'm saying
that government make some privatization deal that on its own is shortchanging us.
Okay,
it's
no problem.
It's a national asset.
I'm not arguing.
And then you give it to
it's a national asset that has taken, that it takes billions of dollars from you and has refused to return anything to you.
That's the problem to deal with, one problem. But to say
that is the major why you should not keep it. It was old. They paid. We returned the money and they went ahead to build their own. That Nigeria now took money to go and invest in. And you said, and it was the right thing to do?
No, the government should still have its own stake in this sector. It should be a key player.
I have arguing on some things. Don't worry. You guys should keep, we deceive ourselves as long as we want. No problem. Now, getting back to the workers. Each time you want to restructure the work, do we actually need this figure? They fight. Yet they want the best of, but they don't want you to restructure to reflect
the reality.
The reality on ground. If you are not giving the very best, why should I be paying you the very best? No, it's not done. Go to the private sector. I give an example of even establishment. Go to government-owned station and the number of staff they have there. Stations who have 10% of that, of the number of staff they have there, they function better than them. They produce better.
All right, we need to bring people in. It's the roundtable. Thank we're still here till 4:30. The platform conversation. We set off with now. We're looking at the provisional salary increase aspect of it. Will TUC still go on the strike or not? They're deliberating to see how it pays, but some people feel caught out. We're looking, for example, with the Bureau of Public, the data that was in. 720,000 people in the federal government workforce. And if this is speaking for government, okay, we trickle down to states. And it's embarrassing to not even have all of the data for every single date to compute at this point in time to say more people who are going to benefit.
Okay, go ahead.
Who are going to benefit from this provisional salary increase 6 months. As communicating another critical, because if you're taking to the which is even distribution, native to every single person, you're subsidized. And then a certain percentage is going to get some sort of incentive that is not going to cover the informal sector, the market woman who is still going to trade her tomatoes and vegetables, who will still have to pay more for transportation, even though the government they're going to provide this one for, but that there is where the market woman will not increase her price because of these 720,000 people who I'm going to be a victim of, because I'm not going to that pay increase.
And I just
provisionally.
You're not likely to be, because we have had a inflation
we know
lately.
it is going to go up. I do not have that much confidence that aside from the inflation, a lot of figures come into place when salaries review. I know you say it's provisional, but what see?
Yeah. I also can tell you that we won't have it. I said there may not any significant difference. I have told you that. We would likely have, but I'm not seeing the metrics. This is that will jump there. I mean, that will trigger any astronomical increase. And I think when we were talking about subsidy removal long ago, I told you, in those days that it goes on increasing the pays for workers. Are due for that. Workers are due for increase.
Every 5 years. I mean, the provision is due
what
every
you
5
have
years.
on ground or or not. So this is legitimate for the workers. But we need to take things that will affect everybody. I explained this. And I said we should invest in education. This idea of educational loan, I've never supported it one.
Student loan.
I have never. Rather than giving loan to a person to go to school, Kukumas pay the school fees on his behalf. We have taken, keep saying this, that we have taken money away from the subsidy on petroleum products, on electricity. Even before elections, I've been shouting that take these subsidies from these two areas and invest part of them in education. But right now, it appears the government is on that. That would have affected what people are paying today to private schools. If you have a public institution functioning, unfortunately, the latest ranking, a private school in Nigeria, university, comes dusting was like Ife,
ABU.
Okay, well done. ABU, let me mention for you. ABU. Okay, all right. So that should tell you that we should pay attention to our public institutions, so that we can turn out where the children of the poor too. They can't go to your expensive private schools to go pay 4, 5, 3 million naira yearly. But they can go to those places, and many of our leaders, they went to those open schools, and of course they can compete with their mates anywhere in the world. So if we're able to invest to touch everybody. Now we invest in transportation, and I have said it's the best time for the FCT to make that happen. I have given, of course, I attempted to give routes before. Yeah. You have some, of course, I won't mention them again. It appears we are not seeing them, and you expect the people not to agitate, they will agitate. I'm not saying I supported the warning strike, of course. I don't think I'm supporting this wholeheartedly, because again, it will hurt the people the more. The fuel is high, and electricity workers will go on strike and they'll be blocked. Yeah. That will affect a lot of people. But that people live on solar. It may not affect them at all.
A small percentage. Huh? A very small percentage of people live on solar who use that.
If you take, there are some homes I know that even if you seize your power for 1 week, they are fine. Okay. The thing they will not use is multiple ACs. I'm saying that the poor will still be the one to suffer. Rich, they have access. They can buy the diesel.
How long do you think it can be stretched for to affect rich? I'm just
kidding.
Depends on the category. You don't need to respond.
The category. Kim, some, if you stress on it, in fact, some may get tired and they leave your tree for you.
I believe that. All right, let's hear some folks quickly before going to break.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. I didn't say I'm sorry.
Welcome.
I'm always listening to you, but recent I'm listening to you because we are not in the same boat again. It don't work. I like your analysis. I want him to please analyze the president's. And some people can lose their mansion on top of water. He is not part of those people. Who are those people? So that we know and know the kind of prayer we pray for them. He talked about CB. Is he not in a hurry to talk about it? Let them conclude the investigation so that we know the people that really play with our cash. Finally, Mr. Kolawole, the next topic that is trending everywhere, especially on social media. To the extent people respect so much, already done their conclusion, the institution even issued the certificate. Please, I want you to say something. One love.
Mommy Z, you just wake up and drop your own topic.
So analyze the friend's speech. Is what she's
No, I
mentioning.
heard that part about the
mentioned in the
goodness of the
slum.
water. Yeah, okay. It's the very last.
Okay, the covenant Chicosti and the court saying that
Okay.
the result should be handed over to the opposition by midday today. That's about 6-7 p.m. Nigerian time, right?
All right.
All right. They want the results. Hello.
Oh,
Good.
good afternoon, okay.
Welcome. What's your name?
Your guest, it is William.
All right. Go ahead, Williams.
Just want to say it once. Because you talk about the level having a 700,000 deals, if you want to multiply by, to talk about over 3-point-something million, or let's say 5 million. That is not really enough for a country that have over 200 million plus. And you also talk about this is a pocket of, what I call it, government loss, so to say, that we enjoy this. And if government and labor keep on going to government, they increase, and you don't look at the inflation rate. And look at for the long time, I will be able to down to say, can we cut agriculture? Can we revive agriculture? Can we revive our cocoa car industry? Can we think about our textile industry come up back if we swim? Because it is a 6 months, and 6 months elapses, one come next. Go back to government to lock the door.
All right.
Government next. So we should think about the future, to think about the government in the next 48 months, they're going to be in the office. How can we generate, the state has to generate,
All right, Williams.
to power, and we'll be able to our industry going forward. You can people do this all the time.
All right. Thank you very much, Williams, with your point. Let's look at some comment quickly just before the news. Kolawole will respond afterwards.
And Emmanuel Mpape says, I have a major concern to voice clear my head, and I believe you can answer me. Concern is, will the new salary increase affect core members? Salary never drop, and we are so worried. And Abashuna might says it's called expectation, referring to what Oluremi Tinubu said. Her husband inherited a damaged economy, and her husband is no magician. But is he not the same husband who understands what needs to be to fix the country by continuing where Harry stops? That's the question that Babashuna might is asking. Well, Joy is here for the news. We'll go on the break right now. When we come back, we'll get more of your thoughts and reactions to the big reason today.
This is Nigeria Info. This is Nigeria Info.